Cryotherapy is needed after surgery or after suffering a blunt injury. It helps reduce swelling and is an effective pain therapy without having to take a lot of painkillers, which in essence can poison your body. A benefit of cryotherapy is that it is applicable at any time. If you have a cooling pad at home, you can use it. This means you are always prepared and equipped for emergencies, and you don't have to go to the doctor for a prescription, but instead start relief right away. Simply follow the RICE principle: rest, ice, compression and elevation. This method is very beneficial and is well known to most people, or at least to athletes. The advantage of Flex.Pads from emcools is that they can be applied directly on the skin, therefore providing a deep penetrating effect. And we know from medical research that this leads not only to pain reduction, but also post-operatively a reduction in inflammation, meaning a reduction in inflammatory mediators, as they are referred to. This means that with fewer substances that trigger inflammation comes less heat generated, less buildup, less edema and less pain. The functionality of the Flex.Pads works with a graphite water mixture, which means it is not pure water that conducts the heat or cold very quickly. It is the added graphite which allows the cooling effect to last longer. The application of the Flex.Pads is very simple. They are removed from the freezer and applied directly on the affected area. It is essential to apply it on a dressed wound so that no contamination can interfere with any surgical incision. The cooling pad should be left on for 15 minutes, and this process should be repeated 1 to 2 times within an hour. Flex.Pads can be used right after an accident directly where the pain is, based on the simple guideline: just stick it where it hurts. The advantage is that swelling and inflammation will be reduced immediately and less pain will occur. The advantage for the patient on the one hand is the shape of the Flex.Pads that resembles a chocolate bar, so these cubed-shaped forms rest nicely on the body. And on the other hand, the Flex.Pads have also been used in an intensive care medicine, which means we know that they work, and their field of applications has been extended beyond patients in intensive care and applied to regular patients who now can also benefit from this invention.